Hello and welcome to QX. Today I'd like to show you how to assemble the twin unicycle. Therefore, let's first look what's in the box. We have the stem and the handlebar. We have the twin unicycle wrapped with some paper and carton to protect it. We also have two unicycle saddles. Two unicycle seat posts, an accessory box with paddles and seat clamps, and the QX catalog. Now first find out what's front and back. In the back you have a knob. By pulling that knob out you can unlock the rear steering. By pushing it into the slot you can lock the steering again. The front has two quick releases to unlock the unicycle, but the steering is always opened. Also, the cranks have an R for right and an L for left on the inside of the crank. This has to relate to the front and the back of the twin unicycle so that you can assemble it correctly. You also have two quick releases on the clamp of the connection bar. I'll show you how to open these. It's the same mechanism in the front and in the back, but I'll show you on the back one because then it's a bit more complicated because of the knob. So I'll pull the knob out to make things more easy, and then I open both quick releases, and then you can open the clamp totally. You see there is a little slot in the alloy shell, and there is a pin in the connection bar which has to match if you reassemble it. So you put it into, then you close the connection bar onto it again, and be sure to match the pin into the hole. Check it by pulling it into so that it fully locks into, and then you close the quick release one by one. First the first one, then the second one. This has to go really easily. Now you know this is the back and this is the front. Watch out that on the inside of the crank the L is on the left side and the R is on the right side. So right, left, right, left. On the pedals you have an L and an R too. So when now assembling the pedals, make sure that the left pedal goes to the left arm, considering the direction of the whole twin unicycle. So this left pedal is screwed counterclockwise into the thread. This has also got to be working very easily. You don't need tooling in the beginning. And now just the same thing for the front unicycle. You take the left pedal for the left crank arm and screw it counterclockwise with your hand into the crank arm thread. So I'll now turn it around to the right side. So both cranks on that side have an R on the inside. And now I'll take the pedals with the R and screw them in clockwise into the thread. Also, just with my hand, carefully into the thread of the crank arm. This also works quite easily. As you can see, I'm just doing this with my fingers. And now just the same thing for the front unicycle and the right crank arm, right pedal into the right crank arm. Just screw it in with my hand. Finally, you take a 15mm wrench and tighten all pedals in a good way. Check these after the first rides, especially if you twist the unicycles around or ride backwards. It may happen that they lose and then you might damage it. So just check them after the first rides and then it should be fine. Now take the quick release seat clamps and match the rear slot to the rear slot of the unicycles. And then just insert it onto the seat tube. Same for the front. Now put the seat post on the unicycle saddle by matching the holes in the pins. Put one washer on every screw and then one nut on every screw as well, and tighten it with your hand as far as you can. It's a bit tricky with my big fingers, but finally you should have done that on both saddles. And then tighten all with a 10mm wrench until the saddle is fixed on the seat posts. Next, you take the handlebar and the stem. You can assemble it in many directions. In this case, I'll just mount it this way, which might be the easiest way for beginners. Insert the stem into the seat tube and then the seat tube into the frame. Adjust saddle and handlebar according to the wheel in the same direction so that they match. Fix the quick release, and once everything points in the same direction, tighten both Allen key screws equally one by one. Not tighten one fully and then the other, but tighten both equally, alternating between both bolts. Inflate the tires to around 3.5 bars and you're ready to go. Have fun!